Hey guys, it's Ashley. I am back again with another video. This time I will be reviewing and using my new Arteza sketchbook. I was very intrigued to use this sketchbook just because it is 118-pound paper, so it should be a really nice thick paper, especially in comparison to typical sketchbooks. They are very light. This Canson sketchbook is only 65 pounds, so it's just a super thin paper that just isn't designed to hold up to pretty much anything other than pen and pencil. So I wanted something that could potentially hold up to something a little bit more. In this video, I'm going to be using water-based media, so that'll be fun. But as you can see, this paper is just so nice and thick. It's just gorgeous, and I'm super excited to see how it holds up to water-based media, even though it says it's supposed to just be for dry media, but you know what? I don't play by those rules. But anyways, in the back here, you see it's got this nice pocket. You can hold like thumbnail sketches or anything in there. I normally don't use them, but it's a good addition. And then in the front, it has a place that you can put your information in here. So if you ever lose the sketchbook for some reason. And then on the back, it has this nice just Arteza logo in there. And the texture of this whole book is just absolutely beautiful. It has kind of a shine and sparkle to it. And the inside, the papers are nice and toothy. So I'm excited to see kind of how these hold up to art in general. And so what I'm going to be doing with this sketchbook, I said I would use water-based media. However, I'm not necessarily going to be using watercolor. Instead, I decided that I am going to be using loose leaf tea. I've seen a lot of art videos of people using coffee or tea to paint with, so I decided to kind of go along those lines, but instead of just a standard black tea, I wanted to see if I could get kind of a rainbow of colors using my vast array of teas. So my first one here, I went with a deep red color. I was hoping it would be more of a purpley red, but it still is a nice pretty red color. This is the berry cream compote tea from Adagio Teas. I can link that for you guys if you want. I'm obsessed with their teas, but it has kind of a really nice color to it. Those rose hips in there bring out that red quite a bit. And so I'll just go ahead and put these colors in my palette so you guys can see all the colors in one space since I brewed them all separately. And my next tea that kind of got to that orangey color is this fruit sangria tea, also from Adagio. All of these teas will be from Adagio because I am kind of obsessed, but again, nice bright orangey red color. And up next is my yellow tea, which is this turmeric bliss tea. You see it has kind of that weird kind of grody sediment on the bottom. I let all these teas brew overnight so I could get those really strong colors out. This turmeric tea still went to a kind of a lighter yellow than I thought. I thought it was going to be a much deeper yellow, especially after steeping for so long. And then naturally, up next, I'm going to need a green tea. So for this, I chose some matcha. That was the tea that I thought would get the most green color. Now, granted, I was a little bit nervous about this tea because matcha tends to be a little bit gritty at times, so I was worried that that grit would kind of show up in my painting, but I decided to go for it and just kind of see what happened. And then my next tea is my favorite just based on this color. It's this gorgeous blue color, and this is Adagio's Bella Luna blue tea. It's made with butterfly pea flower, which is what gives it that gorgeous kind of blue hue to it. It actually tastes pretty good too, but it's a hard to find tea from Adagio. They only sell it like once or twice a year, so it's hurt my soul a little bit to use it for this project, but I thought it would be fun. And then my last color for purple, it's also with this butterfly pea flower. When you mix that tea with lemon, it turns this purple, which is, I'm just obsessed with the whole science behind that. I know that probably sounds dumb, but whatever. I think it's cool and I'm excited to paint with it too. And then finally, I wanted to have kind of a neutral color to balance all of these out. So I just brewed an Earl Grey tea just to get that kind of brown color. Now I was expecting this to be a darker color once it brewed, but I'll still play with it, see what the color ends up turning out to be, see if it stays this kind of brown or if it changes completely. And now that I have all my colors out, I did go off screen. I kind of sketched out a piece that I'm going to paint. But first, I'm going to go ahead and get my swatches all done, and you guys can watch that all go down. And as you can see here, these colors, they went on so light when I painted them. I was expecting much deeper colors. So I actually went through with multiple layers just to try to get a color out. And I was pretty surprised by how little color output they had. Especially that blue and the purple. I had higher hopes for them, but you know, whatever. This is an experiment, so we're gonna play with it. And then I kind of just stopped the camera for a bit just so I could let these dry. And now you can see what colors they dried to and how different some of them are. Like that berry cream turned almost gray and matcha turned into kind of a gold color that I honestly wasn't expecting at all. It was so strange to see how these dried. But now that I knew how they dried, I decided to start painting this cat. I decided to base the cat off of calico patterns. I myself have a calico cat that I absolutely adore. She is my fur baby and I love her, but I decided to kind of base this piece's coloring off of that. So I used a bunch of different colors. I tried to use every tea at least once in this painting. I mostly ended up using the berry cream just because that really dark kind of gray color it gave. And then some of the Earl Grey as well, just for that kind of brownish kind of color, kind of more predictable than the other ones. And by the way, if any of you guys ever want to see me actually sketch out these pieces, please let me know and I can definitely go ahead and do that. I usually just do that off screen so you guys aren't having to endure a 20-something minute long video. I try to keep these around 10 or so minutes each. But if anybody wants me to actually show the sketching process or a slowed down painting process, let me know and I'd be more than happy to see if I can do that for you guys. But yeah, I'm just going to go through painting this. I'll kind of let this music play in the background. You can kind of see what I'm doing with this. I keep calling it paint. It's not paint, it's tea, but whatever. I'm just going to keep calling it paint. And I'm really just saturating these pages with as much color as I can, just because I do want to see how this paper reacts to water in general. And this background is my tea that I mixed the lemon with, so I'm intrigued to see how the paper reacts to lemon juice as well. I realize that might be a negative thing with paper, but I'm just gonna go with it and see what happens. And now I'd kind of let that dry. This had been drying for about an hour, and as you can see on that cat's back leg, there's still so much water left. This paper doesn't absorb a lot of water. A lot of it just kind of sits on the surface, so any kind of watercolor doesn't really dry very quickly, so this wouldn't necessarily be a good option for, say, painting on the go. It is something that you kind of need to leave the book open for a little bit. But overall, it's actually holding up really well to this paint. It's not, it does warp a little bit, but it's not severely buckling, or it isn't tearing apart the paper as I'm putting more and more water onto these. So I was actually pleasantly surprised. Even though the book says it's ideal for dry media, I said, you know what, whatever, I'm going to play with watercolors anyway, and it worked out. I'm excited to add more watercolors to this in the future. And now here is that finished piece. Part of the face still hasn't completely dried at the time of this filming, but you can kind of get an idea of how those colors all dried, how different they ended up. I thought this was a really fun experiment. I do kind of want to paint more with tea in the future, and I'll definitely be using the rest of this sketchbook as well. And so thank you guys so much for watching. I'm glad y'all tuned into this. Let me know if there's anything you want to see from me in the future, and leave a like on this video if you want to see more, and feel free to check out my channel as well. I hate asking for subscribers, but I guess I'm gonna do that. So thanks y'all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.